Welcome to the Nebraska Prep Zones show. I'm Stu Pospisil, Mike Patterson with us as always. And Mike, why don't we start with what you saw last night?
Well, I was down in Lincoln, Stu, for Omaha Scott, our Class B #1 team, having a really great season. One of the two big tests they have this week at ranked Class A Lincoln Pius X, and the Thunderbolts were ahead after the first quarter, but after that it was pretty much all Scott. They've got a really strong team, a little more diversified than they were last year. They had the addition of the Ladwig girl from Blair, Peyton McCabe, again, having a great season. Mia McMahon, a sophomore, she had 4 3-pointers in the second half. So impressive 22-point win for Kip Colony's team, and they'll be playing Omaha Central on Friday. That'll be their second big Class A test, and I think I'm going to be there on Friday night. So great start to the week for the Skyhawks. Okay,
how close are they to pushing for overall #1?
I'd say they're getting pretty close. So it's tough when you've got the Class A teams and you've got the Class B teams, and I really think, and I'll talk about our overall top 10 in a minute, but Scott definitely belongs in the mix. They've only lost once, and that was in the Nike Tournament of Champions down in Phoenix. Lost to a really good California team, so they have not lost to in-state competition yet. We'll see if we can still say that again after Friday.
Okay, well, the Scott boys sustained their first loss last night to Pius, which I happened to move into the top 10 this week at number 10. So, we were talking about this off air. Class B, there's a lot of teams just trying to get to the state tourney. I'm not sure, either boys or girls, how many, are going to be there, threatening at the end. I still think with you, it's Scott and Elkhorn North, and for me, it's Scott and perhaps Platteview, perhaps the Eastern Midlands Conference winner, which is right now, Bainton's going to host Norris on Friday night after Norris plays Elkhorn North in the girls' championship up there. So I'm going to be able to see Britt Prince again, which haven't seen since they beat your #1 team, Millard South.
Britt's having another great season, obviously. She had a triple-double recently against Hastings, so I think she had 33 points maybe that night.
Okay.
So she's not slowing down at all her junior year, and, everybody wants to know where she's going to go. We don't really have a timetable on when that decision will be, but I know she's going to make one college coach very happy and probably disappoint a heck of a lot of college coaches.
I'm sure. So why don't we just run through our top 10s again in the boys. Bellevue West, last week Gretna got a little close to them, but still Bellevue West solid #1. Gretna's still staying there at #2. Prep had a good win over Westside last night at home. Stays 3rd. Westside 4th. Miller North 5th. Second 5, Lincoln East, Omaha Central, Elkhorn South, Southeast, and Pius. And again, on the boys' side, the Lincoln schools, it's like a revolving door. Who's playing well that week, what the matchups are. Southeast last night really stuck it to Lincoln East. So there's going to be more juggling. It's good to see Lincoln be very competitive this year, and what's great is the schools in the community are showing their support. They're really coming out and supporting basketball and filling the gyms, and that's stuff that harkens back 20, 30 years.
I was talking with someone at Pius last night, just asking him who the best boys team was in Lincoln, and it's really hard to say right now because they're all pretty much above average, and who knows how it's going to shake out. It's always kind of nice when a Lincoln team or two gets to the state tournament. They're going to bring giant crowds down there. I know the NSAA wouldn't mind that.
No.
Some of those schools haven't been there in a while, so we'll see what happens here on out with the Lincoln schools.
Certainly. In Class B, like we alluded to, Scott took its first loss. They'll play Central on Friday night. You'll see the girls, as we talked about. I think Scott's going to stay #1 almost regardless of how they fare this week against Class A competition. Platteview lost to Council Bluffs Lincoln last week at the Nebraska Prep Classic. And in fact, after Scott in the rankings last week, every single team lost. That's why Elkhorn got a huge jump into the ratings at number 4. And then they lost to Bennington last night, Tuesday night in the Eastern Midland semifinals. So Class B, you get past Scott, maybe past Platteview, and it's just a jumble as well as the Lincoln schools.
I still put Scott up there number 1 despite that loss. And, you know, the one thing, I'm sure Kyle Juergens might even be thinking that a loss at this point, maybe not the worst thing.
No.
You know, you don't have the pressure of trying to go unbeaten. Gives you a chance to refocus, reset, figure out what you did wrong, and go on from there. But, you know, Skyhawks runner-up last year. I'm sure they've got that motivation for sure this year, and still looking really tough in Class B.
Yeah, well, Pius made how many threes last night?
Several.
at least 10 from what I was seeing on Twitter. Our other number ones in boys basketball, Ogallala undefeated in C1, Donovan Trumbull undefeated in C2, Maywood Hayes Center undefeated in D1, Lincoln Parkview with 3 losses but playing a really strong competition level, defending champion. They're being kept at number 1 in D2. So with the Scott loss, I think we're down to 5 undefeateds in boys basketball.
That's I'm just looking right here. I think girls might maybe less than that. I think maybe 4 teams.
Wow. You want to run through your?
Sure. Let's look at the overall top 10, Stu, with the girls. Number 1, Millard South. The Patriots stay on top. The team that scored 93 points not too long ago to second highest scoring game with 93-91 with Bellevue West. Second highest scoring game in.
But highest regulation game.
True. Highest in regulation. Number 2, Bellevue West. They just had a close call against Omaha Central last night, but Thunderbirds prevailed. They're number 2. We mentioned Omaha Skutt. They're number 3 in the overall top 10. Right behind them is Elkhorn North. Their only loss was to Skutt. They're early in the season. Number 5, Millard North. The Mustangs are a little bit under the radar this year, but they've had a really nice season. Once beaten for Coach Chris Paulson. They're number 5. Number 6, Maya Scoff and Bellevue East. Really nice season again this year. Chieftains are number 6. Number 7, Lincoln High. Number 8, Lincoln Pius the 10th. The Thunderbolts might have to drop just a little bit after their performance last night, which was, I'm sure, disappointing on their home court. Number 9, Omaha Central. And number 10, Millard West, the Wildcats of Mark Kruger. So that's our overall top 10. And our number 1s, Class A, Millard South. Class B, Omaha Skutt. C1, Bridgeport. C2, West Point, Guardian Angels,
Yes.
Central Catholic. Class D1, Maywood Hayes Center, number 1 in both girls and boys. And Class D2, number 1 is Shelton. And I mentioned really the big game coming up this week is Omaha Central at Omaha Skutt, 6 p.m. on Friday, followed by what should be a pretty darn good boys game.
Should be. Central's going to be licking its wounds after last night at home against Bellevue West, but again, not really a surprise when Bellevue West is playing well.
Right.
I'll be at the Eastern Midlands finals on Friday night at Bennington, and then Saturday it's going to depend a lot on conference tournaments, and you've got a social engagement. So
that's right. I will be attending a wedding, and we get a little bit of time off every once in a while. And
yes.
This Saturday, the wedding was supposed to happen about a month ago, and it got postponed. And yeah, that's where I'll be on Saturday. But like you said, a lot of conference tournaments this week, and we'll see how that shakes out for next week's ratings.
Yep, this week and next week, a lot of conference tourneys. And we'll be back next week to update you with all that. So for Mike Patterson, I'm Stu Pospisil, and this is the Nebraska Prep Zone Report.